This is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Before I get this episode started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media channels, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. Before I continue with this episode, I have to tell you guys about LinkedIn. These days, everyone knows that it can be really hard to find and hire the right candidate for your very small business or any business in general. That's exactly why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find people that you want to talk to faster and for free. And Bears fans, I wouldn't lie to you. If I was a boss, I would definitely go to LinkedIn Jobs because I would be able to find the right candidate that would fit my needs of my business. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the right candidate. And Bears fans, did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? You know what? I can actually use LinkedIn Jobs right now to actually get some help for this podcast. And I know that I would be able to find the right candidate with LinkedIn Jobs. All you have to do is post your job for free at linkedin.com/Wendy. That's linkedin.com/Wendy to post your job for free. So we all know that the Chicago Bears season is just over. It's just done. The Chicago Bears are 4-9, and we just have to make it through these last 4 games and call it done for this season. But to make matters worse, Chicago Bears defensive back Jaylon Johnson confirms locker room could actually be split, which doesn't surprise me at all. I know he was talking a couple weeks ago about how the locker room was kind of half and half, like half of them wanted Matt Nagy gone and half of them wanted to stay. And you can definitely tell that it looks like when they're playing that they're definitely still playing for Matt Nagy, but I'm not sure how that has changed since the Bears are kind of officially out of the playoff race. So during an appearance on Barstool Chicago's Red Line Radio, Johnson had an interesting quote about where things stand in the locker room with the final 4 games left. Check this out, guys. There is a side in the locker room that is starting to go into tank, and you have guys that are still trying to fight and figure out how we can get better, Johnson said. Now, obviously, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, this is not the first time that Johnson has brought this up. A couple weeks ago, he brought up a quote where he was like, no more rah-rah speeches. We just need to go out there and get it done. So he's already talked a little bit of mess about Matt Nagy and the other coaches in the Chicago Bears organization. But let me tell you guys something. With 4 games left, a loss on Monday night would basically just implode the Chicago Bears team, and we're already imploding, but a loss on Monday night, a bad loss at home on primetime to the Minnesota Vikings would definitely make this team implode, and then I think eventually all the players in the Chicago Bears organization would stop playing for Matt Nagy, and then the Chicago Bears higher-ups, including Ryan Pace, if he gets to make that decision, will have a choice to make to either let Matt Nagy finish the last 3 games and just take massive L's in those last 3 games, or fire Matt Nagy early and start trying to figure out who your next head coach will be for the Chicago Bears. So, like always, comment down below in the comment section and let me know how you guys are feeling about what Jaylon Johnson said about the locker room. I think it's a pretty interesting nugget here as we get ready to end this terrible Chicago Bears season. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for our all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
Riding with country bear. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the